Today we are working on the power of powers rule. That one says that if I have a base raised to an exponent and the whole thing raised to another exponent, I keep the base and I'm going to multiply my exponents together. Your learning target says, I can use the rule for a power to correctly evaluate or simplify an expression. So let's see how this works. And again, we're going to start off not with the rule, but with going back to basics. So it looks like I have a base right here that is raised to the power of 3. That means I have 3 of those. So I've got 12 to the second once, I've got 12 to the second twice, and I've got 12 to the second 3 times. This base raised 3 times. Well, I can break this down. 12 squared is 12 times 12. I can break this one down. 12 times 12. I can break this one down. 12 times 12. If I count them all up, I have a base of 12, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times itself, 12 to the 6th power. Now, if I had used the rule, let me erase this, I would have had keep the base, 12, and multiply your exponents. 2 times 3 is 6. But all I did was rewrite it. I did not evaluate it. So using a calculator with an exponent key or decimals, whichever one you want, find what 12 to the 6th power is. You should have gotten 12 to the 6th power is this number. 2,985,984. I can evaluate this because there are no letters involved. But what if there are letters? Well, I'm still going to go back to my basics. I'm not going to use my rule quite yet. It looks like I have a base that's being multiplied 4 times. So I have f to the 5th once, f to the 5th twice, f to the 5th 3 times, f to the 5th 4 times. I have my base raised to my exponent. Now I can break that down further. I know that f to the 5th is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 f's. I know this f to the 5th is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 f's. I know this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, that one changed colors on me. I know I am multiplying all of those together. So if I have f repeatedly multiplied, my base will be f. And I'm just going to count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 f's repeatedly multiplied. That is my answer. I could have gone back, let me erase here, and used my rule, which says keep f as your base and multiply those exponents, and gotten the same answer. I can only simplify this. I can't evaluate it until I know what f equals. On this one, let's go ahead and just jump right into the rule. If I want to rewrite this with one exponent, I am going to keep my base, and I'm going to multiply my 2 exponents together. 3 times -2 is -6. There, I have rewritten using one exponent. But it also says it wants me to evaluate. So if you were to use a calculator or Desmos and take 2 to the -6, you will get a decimal. You'll get this decimal. I would just like to say in a future lesson, oops, that's a 5. In a future lesson, we'll find out this is the same as 1 over 64. So this one's just a tad more complicated. We're going to go ahead and go back to the basics on it. We'll come back to the rule in just a second. So it looks like I have a base that I want to multiply by itself twice. So I have 2 to the 3rd x to the 4th once, and 2 to the 3rd x to the 4th twice. Now you can deal with this a couple ways. You could say this is 2 times 2 times 2, or you could just say it's 8. Same thing here. You could say it's 2 times 2 times 2, or you could just say it's 8. Keep in mind that you still have 4 x's there and 4 x's there. And I'm going to multiply all of those together. So if I were to take my 8 times my 8, I would get 64. And then I would have a base of x, and it's being repeatedly multiplied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is my answer, but could I have gotten there a different way? Well, let me erase, and we'll find out. Sorry, I don't think I got a very big eraser to take care of this whole screen. Give me a second to clean it up. Okay, if I want to use my rule, it simply means that I have 2 parts in here that need to be squared. I need to square 2 to the 3rd and x to the 4th. Well, 2 cubed is 8. And I know that 8 squared, 8 times 8 is 64. I know because of my rule that I'm going to keep my base, multiply my exponents, and I will get the same answer. This one is a little tricky. I'll tell you what most kids do. Most kids simply square the last thing. But if you have your monomial in parentheses, it's super important that you square everything in there. You square the 2 to the 3rd and you square x to the 4th. All right, let's see if you can do a little more of the work here. I'm going to go ahead and get these set up for you, and then I want you to try finishing them and come back to me for checking. So on this first one, let's go back to the basics on this one. I have a base, 2v to the 6th once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. See if you can finish that one. When you look at the second one, though, let's try and use our rule. We are going to square -5. We are going to square a cubed, and we are going to square b to the 4th. All right, go ahead and pause me and see if you can do both problems and get the correct answer. When you are ready, come back for checking. So on my red problem, I just multiplied 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 gave me my 16, and I had 6 V's, 12 V's, 18 V's, 24 V's, and so that's how I got that answer. Over here, I want you to be very careful. Some calculators, if you don't use your parentheses, will say -5 times -5 is -25, which is not correct. Calculators like to only put the exponent on the thing directly in front of it. So it would have squared the 5, but had forgotten or ignored the negative. So just be careful that you're using parentheses here when you plug it into your calculator, because -5 times -5 is +25. Here, keep the base, multiply your exponents. Here, keep your base, multiply your exponents. There are your answers. These two are for you to try without me. If you like to break it down and go back to the basics, go for it. If you want to try using the rule, go for it. Go ahead and pause me, work them both out, and come back when you're ready to check. I decided I was going to use my rule for both of these. So you're going to notice on my red example that I cubed -4. I cubed s to the 5th, and I cubed t to the 7th. This is -64. Here I will keep my base, multiply my exponents. Here I will keep my base, multiply my exponents. That is your answer. On the blue one, again, I decided I would use my rule, and I put 6 to the 5th, and I also put w to the 4th to the 5th. Well, 6 to the 5th power happens to be 7,776. Here I'm going to keep my base, multiply my exponents. There are your answers.